Hey guys, I'm Kiara J. Mason. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a mommy that is experiencing postpartum depression, or you are just interested in seeing and understanding what that looked like for me and how I overcame it, go ahead and stay tuned. So once again, my name is Kiara Mason, and if you are not familiar with postpartum depression, there are different stages of it, I should say, and honestly, I would encourage you to do your own research to know. But there are the baby blues, and baby blues, they typically last 2 to 3 days after delivery up until 2 weeks. And you may feel sad and you cry sometimes, and you feel like, oh, maybe I can't really connect with my child, or you just feel these emotions and you're just trying to release it. It doesn't last long. It's not intense, deep feelings, but there is a sadness and there is that presence there. Then there's postpartum depression. Postpartum depression can last for months. More intense emotions, depression, withdrawal from family, crying spells, maybe even anger spells, not having interest in things that you normally would do. Let's see, you may fear, you have this fear that you're not being a good mother. You have a hard time connecting with your child for whatever reason. And yeah, it's more to it. And then there's postpartum psychosis, which is like another level, and it's not as common, but that comes with hallucinations, and you're seeing things and you literally cannot sleep at all. You either have insomnia or you never wake up. It's like intense. It's like another level. So I would say I experienced postpartum depression. And my story, I would say postpartum depression for me, what it looked like was I had crying spells a lot. I could not figure out for the life of me how someone could have a baby and then go to Target the next day. Like literally, even to this day, maybe I can kind of see it, but I cannot fathom how you can have a baby and then be out and about the next day. Like, that blows my mind even to this day. But I remember after I had my child, I had so much resentment and anger and frustration, and I didn't understand how people could go about just doing regular things again, because in my mind I couldn't do that, and I couldn't see myself doing that. I couldn't see myself out with other people. I didn't want to be around people. I wasn't that person where, oh yeah, come and see my baby. No, I don't want you around. I don't want you around. And yeah, it was hard for me to eat. And it's not like food was there, but I just felt so consumed by motherhood that I didn't think that I could schedule myself in to eat or to shower. Like, it was very hard to fathom it. People would call me and be like, oh, did you eat today? And I'm like, if I could get to it. Like, I felt consumed, and like there was this heaviness over me with motherhood. For me, I felt like I couldn't really connect with River when I first got home. When I was in the hospital, I was pretty good, but when I got home, I just kind of felt like a cow. If you guys didn't know, I breastfed. I still am breastfeeding 19 months later. And so I felt like a cow. Her latch was terrible, and it was not what I thought that breastfeeding was gonna be. Some people said it was gonna hurt, but I didn't know I was gonna experience that type of pain. And I'm so grateful for the pump. Like, that changed my life. I think that lifted my spirits, honestly, when I realized I could pump and like, hey, somebody else deal with her during this time. I remember not wanting to feed her because it hurt so much, and I'm like, why do you want to eat again? I remember getting angry and frustrated, like, oh my gosh, you're crying again. Oh my gosh, can someone just get this baby? Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I had those feelings, and because breastfeeding was hard for me, Jared would help me. He would literally like get behind me. We would be in the bed. He would lay there first, then I would sit in front of him, River in front of me, and he would help me like put my boob in her mouth so that she could latch, because it was just so difficult for me. Another thing was that I just had anxiety for months of anyone coming to see my child. I didn't want kids around my child. I didn't want her to get sick. I mean, I was okay with people holding her, but like in my presence, I never wanted to leave her with anybody. And I didn't for months and months and months. And we were people who were very adamant about our date night. But I could not do it. I think our first date night happened 8 months later. We did go to a wedding that was already pre-planned. Like, we already knew about it before we even got pregnant. So we did go there, and it wasn't bad. And I trusted my friend that I left her with and her girls, and they had so much fun. But on the inside, I was like halfway freaking out. But I kind of held my composure. But then after that, it was months again before I let somebody watch her out of my sight. I could not drive. Like, for me, driving with her by myself was, I could pretty much have had a panic attack because I thought that I was going to get in an accident, or she was going to, I don't know, just recurring thoughts of death. That happened even during pregnancy. I always had this reoccurring thought of me dying in pregnancy or her dying in pregnancy or in birth. And I always had to combat that with the word. So I would say, we will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. And every time I had that thought, I would have to say that again just to keep my mind at ease. But it was a very difficult time. I just remember feeling like, why can't I be normal? Why can't I be that mom that is just like carefree and like going to the grocery store with her child? Like, I just didn't understand why I couldn't do that. And I didn't realize that it was something wrong with me. I thought everybody else was crazy at first, because I'm like, you crazy if you letting your child go do X, Y, Z. You crazy if you leave your child here, da da da. And I'm like, wait, I think it's me. I think it's me. I haven't seen anyone else like deal with this type of situation. So I think eventually I realized it. And I will say, like, when you do your postpartum checkups, they'll give you the questionnaire of if are you depressed or whatever. I'm a counselor. I know these tests. I've seen it, not that test in particular, excuse me. Excuse me. Not that test in particular, but it's like a reverse psychology thing. So it's like, I know that if I write this answer, you're going to think this. So because of that, I'm going to write this. And I was kind of like outsmarting the test. So I passed the test, but when I got home, I knew that things were not okay. So that was it for me. I think one of the things that contributed majorly to my postpartum depression was having a C-section after I just knew and prayed and believed that I was going to have a natural delivery. I even wanted a water birth and all these things, and it didn't happen. So being slapped in the face with the fact that I didn't get what I wanted was very difficult for me, especially because I documented my journey and people followed along with my journey. They knew what I wanted, and then I had to come out and say I got a C-section. So I felt like a failure. I felt very guilty, like I didn't believe enough or whatever. And a lot of those things are associated with depression. Like, you blame yourself for not being good enough, not being a good mother, not doing this. And it was just like, my child had her umbilical cord wrapped around her neck twice. She couldn't come down, which is why I didn't dilate. After all of these methods of induction, it didn't happen. So eventually I got to a place where I was grateful that, we were both healthy and she came. But for a while, I just felt so ashamed because I was a part of these like natural communities and these midwives and doulas and blah, 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 about, oh, a woman's body is supposed to be able to do this X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, my body didn't do that. And I prayed to God, am I any less of a Christian because he didn't give me what I asked for? Like, it was so many questions that I had, and it was hard. It was hard, and you can experience postpartum depression even with help. Like, Jared was such a big help, like the best dad ever. With River, And even with the help, it was internally, hormonally, the things that were happening to me. Crying, intense feelings of, I didn't even have the words for the feelings. It was just like, I feel this intense emotion and I need to cry. I need to run away because I don't want my daughter to see me cry. So I used to run in the laundry room, or I would run in the bathroom, cry my eyes out, and Jared would be there to console me. So that's what the depression looked like for me. And yeah, guys, what's up? What? Thanks, babe. Thanks for being there for me.
Always.
What? Is something on cheek?
You be telling our story by yourself.
Yeah, this is for my channel. People want to know my side. Did you want to? So, how did you feel during that time when I was going through?
I felt like you was going through it.
Yeah.
No, for real. It's like it's a literal attack on your confidence and an attack on how you see the world. Are people helpful? Is it just me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? Did I do something wrong? It's real. So you can actually sense what's going on. Let me take these off because they're shining in that thing. But it's real. So I was like, nah. I'm big on, if we're going to fight, we're going to fight together. So if that's what's fighting you, I'm going to jump on your team and be like, no. You better back up off my wife. She confident. She this, she that. And that's why I would step in, because if you were fighting or struggling or weak in that area, my job is like, oh, no. This is something we're going to do together. We're going to have victory in this situation. So that's why, like, anytime I saw that there was a difference, I would come and try to, fill in that gap. So it's teamwork, because same thing happens for me. When I had down days and down moments, she would come and, hey, baby, you all right? Or pray for me, or write me a note, or write me a letter. I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can make it. I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's teamwork. I know you're doing your thing, so you ain't invite me to this video.
No, I appreciate your perspective, because I'm sure other people wanted to know.
I'm going to make my own video about how to deal with the spouse. You say you can still see me? Oh, yeah. I'll be setting this thing up. But yeah. Oh, you yawning on my story? Look at her yawning on my story. Y'all see that?
Anyway, thanks, babe. Yeah. I appreciate your perspective.
Cool. But definitely. I see him a little bit.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Yes, I appreciate my husband, because he was like there for me for real. Like, single moms dealing with postpartum depression by themselves, that's scary. And if you feel like you're dealing with that, please let somebody know, because you don't want to deal with that on your own, and you don't want to make a decision where, for some people, they have feelings of wanting to harm themselves or their child. And if you get to that point, you need to reach out, because it can be very frustrating. And these emotions are so intense. Like, I'm not one that I'll process my emotions mentally. That's a whole nother issue. But that's how I process them. So I don't allow myself to feel emotions. So with that, I felt everything. It was like I got medicine for the pain, but not for the emotions. Like, it was full on. It was intense. And to feel those type of emotions and not be able to feel like you have a grasp on them, especially without someone being there by your side, I would definitely say reach out to someone and let them know, like, you're having these feelings, because you can get to a point where it's like, you don't want to deal with the kid, leave him in the room and just walk away. Or for some people, shaking the baby, and that breaks my heart. For me, I didn't have those emotions. I never wanted to harm River. But I wanted to neglect her by way of not feeding her, because I was just tired and I didn't want to do it anymore. So, nonetheless, how I got over it, I would say the help of my spouse definitely helped to do that. And then I got back to journaling and I really looked at myself in a mirror, figuratively, and was like, this isn't you, Kiara. Like, this is what you wanted out of motherhood. This is what you expected. And I wrote my expectations out again, and I wrote who I was. And I'm strong. Like, I ain't no punk. Like, my emotions don't dictate life for me. Like, that's not who I am. So writing for me really helped me to see, and even writing raw emotions of how I really felt. And then it let me see, like, it kind of helped me to step out of the situation and see, I just wrote this down. I know good and well I really don't believe this. I know good and well this is not who I am, you know? So that really helped me to get out of that, and having friends to encourage you to just get out of the house. And sometimes I didn't like the encouragement because they didn't understand the feelings that I was feeling. They didn't understand that it wasn't just like, oh, I don't want to get out of the house, because I did not leave the house. River did not see outside. Like, it was very rare. When we started going outside, it was like I would walk to the mailbox and back, but that was just too much. I couldn't see myself. It was just too much. And I'm a person that I need sunlight, I need the sun, and I was stopping those things that I normally loved. So getting out the house, y'all, sunlight makes a difference. Being with around people makes a difference. Being a part of a Facebook, oh my gosh, I was a part of a Facebook group, like a stay-at-home mom group, a breastfeeding group. I don't know if I was in a first-time moms group, but definitely a breastfeeding group, and stay-at-home mom group. It was a game changer because you're with a community that absolutely understands what you're going through, even virtually. And it just blessed me so much because they were strangers, but they got it. They got everything that we were dealing with. And that helped me so much to know that I wasn't the only one and I wasn't by myself. So please, please, please join a Facebook group that you feel like aligns with what you believe in and what you're going through. For me, I was a part of multiple mom groups, but I ended up joining specifically a Black breastfeeding moms group, and a Black stay-at-home moms group, because honestly, there were some issues that we deal with as Black women that we understand more than, you know, women as a whole, and some things that we specifically deal with that maybe other people wouldn't understand. So that specifically helped me. That was probably one of the biggest game changers, honestly, because you already breastfeeding all day long, so you may as well scroll on your phone and be encouraged by other people who get it, who can make jokes out of stuff, you know, who can talk about how annoyed they are, but at the same time have a community of women like, girl, get yourself together. Like, it was amazing. So that helped me, and then eventually getting back to a place of prayer, because it was hard for me to pray again. I just felt so condemned. And so guilty that I felt like God was upset that I would even feel this way after he blessed me with a child that I wanted, you know. So that was hard. But then eventually I allowed God to minister to me. I allowed him to minister to me, and I'm like, God, why did you let me go through that? Why did you let me go through this C-section? You know I didn't want that. Why me? And he was like, why not? You want me to be glorified in your life. Why not? You surrendered your life to me. Why not? You don't get everything you want just because you're a Christian and you have a God. That's not how it works. That's not how the God of Abraham works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work like that. And he told me that my testimony would bless others, and through that birth a business, and through that birth being able to encourage so many women, and to have a heart for women who deal with this. And I never, you know, we think about the baby showers and buying the baby gifts and things like that, but we never think about the woman after the fact. And now I had an understanding of that. Now I understood what it's like to have a C-section, and prayerfully I get to understand what it's like to have a vaginal delivery. But if I don't, it is what it is. Like, this is my story. This is the story that God gave me, and it doesn't mean that if you're listening to me, you're going to have a C-section, or if you're listening to me, you're going to have postpartum depression. No, but I am going to give you an awareness of what it looks like. So if it does happen, this is how you process it. So God ministered to me in such a beautiful way. And he just showed me, like, man, if I would have had my way, if I would have pushed for that vaginal delivery, River may not even be here. And that used to tear me up. Like, it used to tear me up, because she could have very well not have been here if I wanted to have my way so bad. So that helped me, and just being grateful that, man, I have a healthy baby. She's beautiful. She's fun. You know, I used to get upset about the eczema. Like, why does my kid have eczema? Why do I have to deal with this too? But, like, why not me? Why not me? So it just gave me so much more compassion for other people and an understanding of dealing with kids with allergies. Like, sometimes you think people are blowing things out of proportion, and they're like, oh, like, this person brought peanuts in the classroom or whatever. But if your kid, you didn't ask for a kid to be born with allergies. Like, you didn't ask for your child to be like unconsolable and scratching and doing all these different things. You didn't ask for a child with special needs, but you have it. So you're just wanting people to be compassionate and understanding. And that helped me. That helped me so much to understand, like, I get it. Like, just have a little bit more compassion. And I needed that. I think I needed that. So yeah, guys, that's my story. I feel like it was so all over the place and not structured how I wanted it to be, but that's just me. I hope you guys got something out of this and understand like what I went through. And if you're dealing with any of those things, reach out. Try to use some of those strategies that I used to get out of that situation. But I overcame it, guys. It took a while. I'm not gonna lie. It took months for me. Some people's depression lasts weeks. Some people months. I had a little bit of postpartum depression and anxiety, so it was hard for me to get out and be around people and stuff like that. But eventually I got over it, and it's a process. Like, every day it'll get better. Like, honestly, it'll get better. I don't want you to think there's this switch that's gonna happen and ta-da, like it's gonna be over. And it can happen if you pray and ask God for a miracle. Like, I still believe miracles happen. But for me, it was a process, and I'm grateful for the process. And I think a lot of people deal with processes, so that's what worked for me. But nonetheless, you guys have an amazing, amazing day. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you're dealing with it, please let me know. Like, I want to pray for you. I want to show you where you can get connected so that you can get up out of that place, because it ain't fun. But you will get out. Just don't do nothing crazy. If you have crazy thoughts like you want to hurt yourself or you want to hurt your child, leave. Like, just get up, leave the situation, make sure your child is okay, and just like step away and gather yourself, call somebody. But don't do anything crazy. I think when you have postpartum depression, maybe not postpartum psychosis, but depression, you have the ability to be able to say, all right, this is a lot. I know that I'm feeling all these different things, but you still have the ability to see what you're doing. So you can say, all right, that's enough. Stop. So, yes. Anyway, love you guys. I'm rambling. Love you. Have a good one.